I just put my head right in front of this window, I think that it's not gonna be, I'm not gonna be backlit. Hi guys, how's it going? This is my last video. Well, actually, I'm not gonna say that for sure. This is potentially my last, this is my last story about Camp Grandpa. Yeah, so I'm gonna get right into it. This is also gonna be kind of a part 2 to the first one I did, because I will provide a little bit of context, but I do just want to kind of tell you guys this story because it's not quite as long. This is gonna be the story of how my friend Tommy got caught at Camp Grandpa and how what happened with that, because he got caught on purpose. So if you don't know, because you're watching this, you're saying, what the hell is Camp Grandpa? When I was just gonna give you a very quick rundown. Camp Grandpa, when I was a child, kind of in, elementary to middle school, I think I was like ages like 9 to 13 or something like that. I and a lot of my friends, we went to this place called Camp Grandpa every summer for like 4 years. And Camp Grandpa was hosted by these 5 retired old men. I know what you're thinking. That's weird. It is, but I mean, there was nothing weird. There was nothing weird like that. So don't get it twisted, okay? I mean, well, I'll get into it. So Camp Grandpa, yeah. So Camp Grandpa was, the reason we all went to this weird camp, it was a month long, it was all of July. And we went here because it was free, and it was kind of like this community thing. The reason it was run by old men was because they wanted to like give back to the community. These were retired teachers, coaches, pediatricians, plumbers, and stuff like that. I mean, there was only 5 of them, so I don't fucking know. But yeah, you get the idea. So anyway, super anti-technology. That was Camp Grandpa's whole thing, was it's a technology detox. And I'm not very old, as you can probably tell. I think I'm still pretty youthful looking. So basically, when I was that age, there was a lot of technology already in the world. So, because this was in like, this I think was from 2015 to 2018, something like that. I don't remember the exact years. When you do something like that, your brain just kind of forgets about it because you're like, I can't live my life with these. That's actually kind of the reason I'm telling these stories online. I really don't care to divulge many personal details or things that I've been through on the internet. But it's just kind of the thing. It's one of those things that like makes you simultaneously feel like you are losing your mind, and also just, it's like, I want to know if other people think that it's as weird as it is, or if maybe I'm being dramatic, because if I am being dramatic, I can put it behind me. But then if other people agree and think this is really strange, then I at least feel like I'm not alone. So it's kind of a win-win for the reactions for these stories. So please give me your feedback, because this has really kind of been eating at me. And yeah, anyway, point is, if you were caught with technology at Camp Grandpa, the repercussions were really severe, and like no one got caught. That's my first story, was the first kid that got caught with technology, little Jimmy, our friend. Well, he's not my friend anymore, but he was at the time. He got caught with his mom's iPad, and it was disastrous. And when he came out of what they did is they put him in solitary for a week. That's what they said. They said, we're gonna put little Jimmy in solitary. It's like the last week of Camp Grandpa. We're like, the fuck are you talking about? That's so weird. What is solitary? And so we figured, fine, little Jimmy will come out and he'll come out of solitary. Little Jimmy will come out of solitary and tell us what happened, right? Like, tell us what solitary actually means. Little Jimmy came out of solitary, and I'm telling you, dude, he was a different person. I talk about all that in the first video, like I said, but he totally changed, like fundamentally his personality changed, and he would not tell us what happened to him. So I had this friend Tommy, and Tommy was like my closest friend, like in the neighborhood at Camp Grandpa. So we would like, basically that was like my duo, like it was me and Tommy. So Tommy was I think I need to describe his personality to you for you to realize why he wanted to do this. Tommy was very super extroverted. He was very passionate. Like if he felt there was some kind of injustice, or he felt there was something like that was not equal, he would like fight. If it was him or if it's someone else, like it didn't matter. He would like fight to like make that right. Even if it like kind of wasn't a big deal, he would like get on everyone's case and make everything as fair as he could, which is great. You know, he was a really like passionate person, which was that's a good trait. But when this stuff happened with little Jimmy, he like freaked out, and all of us were kind of like, okay, well, we're not getting no answers from fucking LJ over here, so whatever, like, let's just move on with our lives. But Tommy said, no, I need to know what's happening, because Tommy had a few screws loose, to be honest with you. He told me, he thought maybe that they were cloning people. They had cloned Little Jimmy, and he thought that maybe they were doing bad stuff to Little Jimmy, and then they'd sent his clone back out to like mingle with us, and claiming that was him. That was Tommy's theory. And I said, Jesus Christ, that's your first thought? And he said, yeah, well, you know, and he kept trying to justify. I mean, you got to remember, we were like 12 when this stuff was happening, so we weren't exactly smart people. You know, he was trying to like justify this clone thing, and he kept telling everyone. I was like, dude, this is insane. One of these people is going to end up like, you know, we're going to have the authorities called, and this is going to be a whole thing. So he would not stop talking about this fucking clone theory. Anyway, my point is, he said, I am going to, next year we're going to go to Camp Grandpa again. And I said, okay, fine. Like, we probably were going to get made to go anyway, so it didn't matter. Next year we're going to go to Camp Grandpa again. I am going to get caught on purpose with, he had just got, because this was, Nintendo Switch had just come out, and he had got a Nintendo Switch. I don't think he'd ever even used it. So he had this brand new Nintendo Switch. He said, I'm going to get caught with this thing, and I'm going to leave it somewhere they're going to see it, and I'm going to find out what happened to little Jimmy when they punished him. And we were all like, I mean, it's like, I didn't even really try to stop him, to be honest, because I was so curious myself what happened. And looking back, maybe I should have kind of been like, Tommy, it's not worth it, you know, whatever. But we, so we went to Camp Grandpa that summer, and Tommy had packed up his Nintendo Switch. And for the record, this is also the last time we ever went to Camp Grandpa. I think that should be clear. We did not continue to go after this, because it was just like, what the fuck is going on? Anyway, my point is, we get there, and instead of like, usually they didn't search anything, they didn't check anything, because most times nobody broke the rules, so they didn't have a reason to. They were pretty trusting with us. But that time, like, we got there, and instantly they were like, can we look in your bags? We need to search everything, because the rules were broken last year, the trust was breached, and we don't trust you guys anymore, so we need to look in all your bags to see if you have any technology with you, because we are not allowing anything to slip through the cracks again. And everyone that Tommy had told about his plan just looked at him like we knew he was planning to get caught, but we didn't think it was going to happen 5 minutes after we got to Camp Grandpa. So they're looking through all our duffel bags, and obviously they find his fucking Switch, and the guy, we called them elders, the old guys. That's not what they were officially called, obviously, but that's just what we taken to call them, because we thought it was funny. One of the elders I was searching his bag, he's like, Tommy, is this your bag? What the hell is this? What's going on here, right? And Tommy did look kind of scared, to be honest. He did look a little bit scared, but then he kind of mustered up like some fake courage, and he was like, yeah, that's right, that's a Nintendo Switch. What are you going to do about it? And the elder was like, I think you know exactly what we're going to do. You're going to have to face the consequences of this, because this is a deep breach of our trust, and we feel betrayed. Or they said something like that. I don't fucking know. This was years ago. But yeah, so they were like, Tommy's going to get punished. Now, they didn't, like with little Jimmy, they were like, little Jimmy's going to solitary. He'll be back after a week. They told us what was going on. With Tommy, they just took him, and he just left. Like, they just took him out. We were like, okay. They just took him somewhere else, and we didn't see him. So that was weird. And then we were all like, where? Like, I figured they were just doing the same thing. The reason they didn't tell us where he was because the same thing had happened to little Jimmy the year before. Probably they're just doing the exact same thing, because punishment fits the crime, and the crime is basically the same. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, he was just gone. And we were all, I mean, there's just nothing you can do in that situation, and it's very like it's kind of hard to explain to people like that feeling because we were scared and we just like you're so powerless. You are so powerless. It's just you. And it's not, and the Camp Grandpa was never like scary until we started realizing like if something does go wrong, even if it's not the elder's fault, like if just something bad happened, like someone got eaten by a bear or something, I don't fucking know. If something bad happened, like we are actually on our own and we're in the middle of nowhere, no electricity, no technology, no nothing, no service. Even if we have technology, there's no fucking service out here, and there's no nothing. So what are we gonna do? And yeah, it was very like, I don't know. I try not to be super attached to my phone or anything like nowadays, but it's crazy just how helpless you can feel, especially, and also partly because we were just kids, so none of us could drive, none of us like it was just a really weird situation. So that's kind of how I was feeling that whole first week of like waiting for Tommy to get out. Was just felt very, very helpless, and like if something did go wrong, like if something had happened to Tommy, then we just couldn't do anything. Like we were completely powerless. So that was kind of not as fun. But yeah, so the first week passed and we didn't see anything about fucking Tommy. Like they didn't bring him back out, nothing. We didn't hear anything. They were just acting like everything was normal. And so we were amongst ourselves, like, the fuck is going on? Where's Tommy? And they wouldn't tell us anything. They just, all we got out of them was they said punishment fits the crime. And I said, what do you mean punishment fits the crime? The little Jimmy did the same thing. And his punishment was solitary for a week, whatever the fuck that means. He's by himself for a week, I guess. I hope he was by himself anyway. And bro, I was like, this whole month, I could not sleep. Like I was just fucking nervous. It was the longest month of my entire life, and it didn't help that every single one of us was like trying to create a theory about what happened and this. Like it was just fucking terrible. And finally, we kind of came to the conclusion we're like, well, all we can do is just wait for Camp Grandpa to be over, so that's just what we're gonna have to do. So we waited for Camp Grandpa to end, and it finally did. And the last couple of days rolled around, and the elders gathered us, and they said, we need to tell you guys that Tommy has he left. When we took him for his punishment, we just sent him home. Like he hasn't been here the whole time. And we were like, why did you not tell us that? Why would you withhold that information? Like we were all losing our mind. And he said, well, because we don't want you guys to get any ideas. Like we wanted to let your minds race and wander because we want you to take this stuff seriously. We don't want you to just think that you can just get off easy. Because I know you guys don't want to be here. I know you guys want to get sent home. So, well, I'm paraphrasing. Obviously, this is not exactly what he said, but this is the gist of it. So basically, they didn't tell us. They kind of made us scared on purpose, but then it was like nothing actually happened. So we said, okay, what the fuck ever. And we went back home, all of us. And the first thing I did when I got home before I even unpacked my bag was I ran. I don't know why I made that gesture. I ran to Tommy's house. It was 2 blocks down the street. I fucking sprinted over there. And I was banging on the door, and then I remembered that I can ring the doorbell, so I rang the doorbell. And his mom came out, and I was like, is Tommy here? Like, I want to talk to him. And she said, no, he's out with his dad. He just got back. And I said, what did he get back from? And she said, he got back from the camp you guys were all at for a month. And she looked at me like I was being dumb on purpose. And I don't think she liked me very much ever. It was very strange. But anyway, she looked at me like I was the biggest fucking asshole. She was like, the camp you guys were at. And I was like, this woman does not want to stand here and listen to me tell her why that's the scariest thing I've ever heard in my life. So I'm just gonna leave. So I just told her, okay, whatever. Tell Tommy whenever he gets back to call my mom, because I didn't have a phone. Call my mom's phone, because I need to talk to him. So I went back home. I was like freaking the fuck out. And finally, it was not too long before my mom got a phone call. She said, it's for you. And I answered the phone, and it was Tommy. And I said, Tommy, hello? Like, is this you? And he said, yes. What do you want? What's going on? And I said, what the fuck do you mean, what's going on? What's going on with you? What happened? And he said, what do you mean, what happened? I said, don't fuck around. Like, you actually need to stop fucking with me right now and tell me what the fuck is going on. And he told me to calm down. And normally I don't freak out. Like, I'm not like a person that freaks out about shit or yells or anything like that. But I was so confused and I didn't understand. And he was like telling me to fucking calm down and blah, blah, blah. And I said, the punishment, like, what did they have you do at Camp Grandpa? Was your fucking clone theory right? Because I'm actually beginning to believe that it was, even though that's the most insane shit I've ever heard in my life. So he said, no, dude, my clone theory was some bullshit. I just made that up to be funny. And I said, I'm pretty sure you were dead ass serious about it, but whatever the fuck. So anyway, I continued to like demand him to tell me, and he was all being all fucking nonchalant about it. And then he was like, bro, I was just chilling all summer. Like, I was just hanging out. It was nothing serious. Like, they just had me go to a different area and hang out all summer or all month. And I said, why then did they tell us that you were here? Why did they tell us that you were at home? And why did they wait till the very end? And he said they probably just told you because they didn't want you guys to fucking freak out. They probably just told you that. Or be jealous. They probably told you so that you wouldn't be jealous of me that I got to hang out at home in the air conditioner all summer. And I said, what the fuck is going on? This makes no sense. None of this shit makes sense. You don't make no fucking sense because last time I talked to you, fucking months ago, you were talking about how you were going to get to the bottom of this, how what they did to little Jimmy was not right, and you were going to fix it, and you were going to tell us all what happened, you were going to get this place shut down, and you were going to involve the fucking authorities if you had to. That's what you were saying. And now you're talking about you hung out for a month? Like, what the actual fuck? I was so mad, bro. I actually don't think, obviously retelling this, I'm getting mad, that in my entire life I've ever, like, yelled or been that aggressive with somebody verbally before. I don't think I have. I was like yelling at him because I was so fucking confused, and I felt like every single person, I felt like it was like this thing that was all set up to just confuse us and freak us out, and like Tommy was now in on it. That's what it felt like. I didn't say anything, and then I said, did you get your switch back? And he was like, yeah, bro, I don't even use that thing. Like, I gave it to my fucking cousin or some shit like that. And I was like, what is going on? So I just hung up on him because I was just like, clearly he just wants to act like a fucking dumbass, and I don't have time for this. I'm freaking out and I need to just hang up the phone. So I hung up the fucking phone, and I was thinking, I'm just gonna see Tommy at school in a few weeks. Like, school starts in the middle of August, so I'll see him in like 2 weeks. But he switched schools. I think he had some kind of like learning, like some kind of disorder where he had to like have some kind of special, I don't know. He's basically went to a specialized school, and because we were starting high school, he went to this school that was like 10 miles away, and which is not that far, but if you can't drive and both of your parents work, which it was not the case for me, then you basically are never going to see that person again. So I did talk to him a couple more times on the phone, and that's how I found out he was switching schools. And then his parents got a divorce, and he started spending all his time with his dad, who lived over by that high school. And I've never seen him again. I literally have not seen this kid again since then, and I'm 20 years old. I've not spoke, because, yeah, like I said, I talked to him a couple more times, like before school started, and I think once after school it started to ask about the new school, and then I found out about the divorce. But he didn't really reach out to me at all, and I didn't really reach out to him because I was like still kind of annoyed, and I didn't feel like I even knew him anymore, so I just didn't really talk to him. But I never saw him again, and I don't know, it was just really weird, and I didn't understand. I still don't really know what the fuck. I don't know. It was just so weird. It was just so fucking weird. I don't know if there's a moral to all the Camp Grandpa stuff, but I'll say this, man. This shit fucking, I don't think about it every day, but it just is one of those things where it's like, it just kind of embeds itself into your psyche and corrodes you, especially when you haven't told anybody. So I'm putting this out here for all of you to see this and hear about it and form your own opinion on the things that have gone on at Camp Grandpa. It's just very, very weird. And yeah, And I'll say this too. This is a little fun fact. I am home from school right now, and I live about, I mean, I still live at home with my parents when I'm not in school, so I live not far from where Camp Grandpa was. And I don't think the camp itself is there anymore, like the tents and everything. I don't think that's there anymore because they haven't been operational since COVID. But so I guess what I'm saying is I could in theory, just for shits, go back and visit and see, show y'all what it looks like if you'd be interested in that. I think that would be kind of interesting. I mean, I don't think anything would happen. You know, I don't think like the elders are still there, but also a couple of them have unfortunately passed away since then. But yeah, I mean, I could always go back. So I might do that. If there is a third video to this, it might be me going back to look at where Camp Grandpa was and just reflect a little bit on that stuff. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I tried to make it faster and not as long as the last one, and I don't think that I succeeded in that at all. So yeah, I will see you guys later. Bye.